Well, since I have a small channel and I'm not really bulletproof to controversial opinions, I tend to not really jump on a bandwagon when there is one. Especially when it's something so polarizing like Dexter's New Blood and its ending. But today I'm here and I actually wanted to talk about the ending because I kind of liked it. As I'm recording this, the series finale stands on a 4.7 on IMDb, which I guess those rating sites are never completely to be taken seriously due to review bombing, but I would say it is an indicator that a lot of people didn't like the ending to New Blood. Another indicator is Twitter. So what basically happened was I watched the finale with my wife. We both liked it. We just kind of went on with our day and I thought, well, I'm kind of curious to see what people thought of it. So I went on Twitter, I searched for Dexter New Blood, and well, I was very surprised to see that this ending got even more, or I mean at least the same amount of hate like the last ending to Dexter. This is why I'm here today. Today I want to look at some of the comments that fans made and some of the arguments presented why this ending sucks so much, and I want to give my opinion, which is probably going to be a little bit different to that. As always, you have to remember, this is just my opinion. If you hated this ending, it's totally fine. If you like this ending, I also think it's totally fine, just like with my opinion, but I would be very thrilled if you guys were civil in the comments, if that's even possible with a video and a topic like this. But now, let's start with Dexter New Blood's ending. Obviously, this is going to be spoiler heavy, so be warned. The way that I see it, here are the main arguments of people why this finale sucked so much. 1. Dexter doesn't kill innocent people. Killing Logan was completely out of character and a contrived reason why Harrison would turn on Dex. 2. Harrison flip-flopped way too much as a character and Dexter would have never let Harrison shoot himself. What was up with that? 3. Why didn't they have Batista confronting Dexter? Why the setup for that plot? 4. Dexter is actually a hero. Why did they need to kill him? He's not supposed to be the antagonist. 5. Something Angela finding the nail in the burned house was very convenient. 6. Why did they kill Dexter? Harrison and him should have left together to LA and had a good life together. There are obviously more arguments out there. If you have some, please leave them in the comments. But I'm going with those that I particularly found to be interesting. If you want to hear my thoughts on the original series, by the way, you can always look at my other video called Dexter, a Bloody Retrospective, which is online on my channel. And if you like that stuff, I would be also thrilled to have you as a subscriber, of course. 1. Dexter doesn't kill innocent people. Killing Logan was completely out of character and a contrived reason why Harrison would turn on Dex. Wrong. I have had some Twitter arguments about this one in particular that just baffle me. Dexter has killed innocent people in the past and his code in the original series was already really compromised and kind of a flimsy excuse to just kill sometimes. He killed Miguel Brado's brother, he killed Liddy, he killed this random dude in a bathroom while he was grieving, he killed this farmer in season 6, Hannah's father, and he would have killed La Guerta if it wasn't for Deborah intervening. Yes, all of these characters are kind of shady sometimes, but the point is that Dexter does break his code if he is in a tense situation, or his don't get caught mantra is threatened to be broken. Furthermore, this was it. As he says in the finale, enough. He basically just snapped and finally let the Brian side of him take over, and that was just too much for Harrison. Harrison flip-flopped way too much as a character, and Dexter would have never let Harrison shoot himself. What was up with that? I can see how people come to the conclusion that Harrison just randomly changed his mind after being so into Dexter as a father, but this is not just the main thing that made Harrison change his mind. I think there were other things set in motion before the eventual killing of his father that hinted at that conclusion. So let's take a look back. Harrison finds out that his father is just like him and he embraces him, hugs him, thinking that he also has anger issues and that the both can then rekindle their relationship. Then when he finds out all of these half-truths about the code and Dexter's dark passenger, he's very interested because he sees it more like a Batman vigilante type of thing, until he is confronted by what really happens when you kill somebody and chop up his body. This scene and his reaction to what's going on, which is an anxiety-induced panic attack, says a lot about the character. I was thrilled to see an outside character actually negatively reacting to Dexter because, well, we'll get to that. Harrison then says something like, "My dark passenger is quiet," which in the moment I watched the episode I thought he meant that he was just like Dexter, but now after the finale I think there is a different kind of meaning behind it. You see, the finale of New Blood perfectly summarizes the whole season in this dialogue by Harrison. "My anger is not because I am like you, my anger is because of you." And seeing how he was always rightfully pissed at his dad, that scene right there where he says his dark passenger is quiet was probably more because he was so scared and traumatized of what he just saw, and not because he was like Dexter. Even if he was like him and sharing that kind of dark passenger and urge to kill, Harrison in general seems to be way more emotionally stable. He has friends, he seems to love a girl, and he can't fit into society without faking it. In the finale, Dexter runs up to Harrison covered in blood, coming off as a maniac that's priority is not saving people by using the code, but rather not getting caught, because at the end of the day he is also just a serial killer, which is why Harrison behaves the way he behaves. Imagine this, you were left alone by your father, abandoned by him, and you develop mental issues because of this. And then you find out he's actually still out there, still alive, and you seek him out to get some answers as to why he just left, but he doesn't really give you good ones. So you are angry, rightfully so. But then he actually gives you an answer that kind of implies you two have a connection and you both share the same mental state. So of course you latch onto this. You want to be near your father, you want to share that connection because you've been alone so many times. But the deeper you go with that connection and the secret behind it, the more suspicious and the more messed up you see what's actually behind the curtain. You see cutting up body parts. You see somebody having to kill innocent people because, well, his code says so. Basically, the show and the ending, in a kind of way just like season 8, imply that the code wasn't necessarily the good option for Dexter when he was a kid, which honestly, that has been touched upon a lot of times in the show, even in season 2 where Harry kills himself when he sees what Dexter actually is now because of him. The code actually ruined Dexter in a lot of ways. The way that the show presents it throughout the seasons, you kind of go with it because he is killing bad people, but he also caused the death of Rita. He also caused the death of his father, of Deborah, everybody that he loved. And he's not happy with this. He's actually a slave to a higher idea, but that higher idea is worth questioning. If he just went to therapy when he was young, this could have basically all been avoided maybe. But that's the thing. In the original series, I think there's always this implication that this is not all something that's actually moral. It's rather that Harry was misguided and he was desperate for some kind of solution. Whether or not that solution was right or wrong, well, I think we've seen enough innocent people die because of that solution, so I think it's at least questionable. And Harrison, just like Deborah in that moment in season 7, now is at a moment where he can make a choice. And he actually goes through with that choice. And for him it's enough. It's not like this is a new idea. The code has been criticized over and over in other seasons before, even going so far in season 8 as to make Dex more of a lab rat of Vogel. So this isn't new, and I can understand why people are sort of upset by this, because again, as I said, Dexter's actions were sometimes saving people for sure, but he also, besides ruining and killing so many innocent people in the crossfire, actually always had a choice, like helping out the police with his gifts. Again, I can understand why people are upset by this, because the show was always flirting with the idea of a vigilante kind of killer. But I think it's fitting for Harrison to be the one to actually take away the dark passenger, and for him that was Dexter. I think it's also interesting going back, because I think there was always this implication that the family and the new life that Dexter created was the way out for him to become human, to actually get rid of the dark passenger. But now, in this last season, well, that happens, but it's different than we expect. It's more that Harrison kills Dexter, so he takes care of that. Why didn't they have Batista confronting Dexter? Why even set up this plot? While I think that Batista's exposition dumps were some of the worst elements of this season, Batista was always just something from his past that came back to bite him in the butt, and not the main antagonist or the main threat. Hell, after he shows up at this police event, I thought that was it for Batista's role in the series. He felt more like a cameo and a relic from Miami, and this show is called Dexter New Blood for a reason. Even in the original series, Batista was never really that big of a character, I think. He was a comic relief side character that we shared a lot of empathy with, but he was never supposed to be the guy to take down Dexter. Maybe Quinn. I think based on season 4 and 5, Quinn would have been a good, or at least a better person to take down Dexter. But Batista? Not really. Dexter New Blood was always about the relationship of Dexter and Harrison, and how a father and son relationship of mentally fucked up people work out, and not about Miami Metro trying to catch Dexter. Plus, how would that have played out anyway? I've seen a lot of comments demanding a kind of manhunt series for Dexter, but why would I watch that? That's just Prison Break season 2. Dexter is a hero, why kill him? Okay, that's not what the original series was all about at all. I've talked about this in this video before, but again, Dexter was always the messed up and troublesome part of the seasons and the series as a whole. He was like an addict that wouldn't stop. And yes, while we hated some of his victims and we saw the benefit of him killing them, I agree with Clyde Phillips that Dexter was a threat to everybody around him. So he needed to die in order for everybody to be safe. I also really like that he thinks so that's what real love feels like, suggesting that Dexter has wished to be stopped before. I mean, he basically tried to commit suicide in the storm before, which was confirmed in New Blood, and he asked Deborah to kill him at the end of season 7. So I like this idea that deep down he wants to be taken out because he cannot stop. Something Angela finding the nail was convenient. I mean, yeah, the original series was never convenient and contrived in its writing, right? Why did they kill Dexter? Harrison should have gone with him and left for LA and had a good life. But to that I say, what's the point? What's the point of making a follow-up to the original series that basically told a story about a murderous sociopath struggling with his humanity, only at the end to make a reboot that just brings the character to square one again? By the logic of people who wanted this ending, Dexter would have just been in season 1 again, only this time with a young man that's also getting messed up just like he is. You always have to think about a deeper theme or at least some kind of message when you make art and stories. So just writing, oh, they both have a happy ending and go to Miami or LA or whatever, I mean, again, what's the point of telling that story? Imagine if a fan who still liked Walter White's character wrote the finale and just let Walter live, and he changed his identity and moved to another city and survived cancer. What would the message be here? Why even bother with the whole journey if there's no point of character growth? I know that killing off a main character is always rough, especially if you like him, whether or not he's in kind of a gray area or not. But to me it's kind of absurd because I always remember watching the original series and seeing all of these videos and comments saying, oh man, is this still going on? Can we move on with Dexter? Can he be caught or killed or whatever? How can they still milk this cow? And now we actually got an ending. We actually got to a point where everybody wanted this to go, and now people are also mad. I mean, what do people want? Do they want another season where they just go to LA and kill people and then maybe they get caught and maybe not? And I mean, what's the point? To that I say, just let it die, let it end. Let Dexter find some rest and let Masuka get married. Anyways, what's your take on Dexter New Blood? And what's your take on this German guy here ranting about how he liked an episode of Dexter and basically putting himself into crossfire because it was such an controversial ending. I want to hear your thoughts though. Tell me in the comments below, and if you like this video, I would be thrilled to have you as a subscriber or get a comment or a like. And until next time, stay pulpy and stay artsy. See ya!